3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Misinterpreting all the movies that you've seen. You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. That's alright, that's okay. You're really smart, and that's fair play. Misinterpreting.
Oh yeah, it's your boy. Man, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, you know what I'm saying? We in here, man. You already know what it is, man. I ain't gotta tell you what it is, man, because you know what it is, you know what I'm saying, man? We here. I'm here with my man, Joe. Joe, say what's up, Joe.
Yo, what's up? Yo,
what's good? You know what it is, man. You know the vibes, man. You know we in here vibing. You already know what it is, man. We black. You know what I'm saying? I like my coffee black. I like midnight because it's the blackest time of the night. You know what I'm saying? I like Black Panther. I don't really like Panther, but I just like the black. You know what I'm saying? It's all black. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I walk outside at night and look up at the sky. You know what I see?
What do you see?
I see black, and it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
I close my eyes every night just so I can see black.
Wow, that's pretty black. Okay. All right, and hang on. This is where we code switch. Oh, hi, welcome back to Misinterpreting Movies. Golly, you are listening to, or maybe watching on YouTube, Misinterpreting Movies podcast. If you've been looking at the calendar, it's either almost or it is Black History Month. So a round of applause for that, am I right?
A round of applause. Black History Month is something that everyone should celebrate. Just once a month, or once a year, once a month. That's actually
what is up to my white audience? Hello, white listeners. Hope I didn't just alienate you there. But guess what, you guys? I have a big announcement to make.
Well, okay, before you make the announcement, I didn't even do my actual code switch voice. Is that your actual code switch voice?
You know, I've been code switching for so long, I don't know what code I'm legitimately in. It's
okay.
like, I don't know who I am anymore.
Because I have, I've shown friends my code switch voice, especially for, answering the phone, and my friends look at me with such hatred. Even my white friends are just like, what the fuck is that? What is that? What did you do?
The code switching, it happens so naturally that I don't even know I'm doing it sometimes. It just, when I'm talking to friends or when I'm talking to family, in certain friends, certain letters fall off certain words, certain grammar goes out the window. And then when I'm talking to a cop, it's like, well, greetings, officer. How are you today? My grammar and my enunciation is on point.
Yeah.
Today.
Same with me.
So I don't know what my code switch voice is. If you want to show us, then by all means.
Just try to get it. I have to.
Wait.
Obviously, I'm not gonna use the one place I work at.
Okay. Wait. So are you gonna code switch from suburban white male to? Are you gonna do black male? I need to know so I can know what music to play for you.
Well, let's just do my phone voice. That's the easiest way of doing it.
Okay, phone voice.
So.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for calling Radio Shack. This is Joe. How can I help you today?
By the way, I love that you use Radio Shack because they're not a thing anymore.
I used to work there, so it doesn't matter. And that's the easiest thing, because if I try to just blank it out, then I'm going to say the other place I work at. And I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. I was actually just having that. Well, you know what? Hold on. I haven't even introduced you yet or talked about the big announcement that's coming up in case anyone hasn't noticed. So this happened to time. The timing worked out so well. This was not on purpose. That it's Black History Month. Either, depending on when you're listening, it's either now or it's in a couple days. And in order to celebrate Black History Month, I decided to make this podcast twice as black. The blackness has increased by 100%, and I would like to officially announce that I have a new permanent co-host, and his name is Joe. Joe, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Where you at, though? Where you at? No. Yeah. I am. Okay, I like that beat.
Me too. I downloaded it as a joke. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of hate myself. It's one of those things where I'm just like, it's one of those things where you find yourself eating fried chicken in public. And
oh
man,
looks
at you and you're just like,
So one time I actually bought. Okay, so I don't shame people who eat fast food. I don't do that. I like fast food. I can't eat it a lot because I just choose not to because I don't want to die. But also because
we're getting older.
But
so.
yeah, also the older you get, the faster it moves through your system.
Yeah.
So like in 15 years, I would just be eating fast food on the toilet just to save myself time. So anyway.
That is an option. I guess I never really thought about
Hey
that.
man, work smarter, not harder. So one time I went to Popeyes. In a moment of weakness, I went to Popeyes. And I'm standing in line and I'm looking around like, I'm like super nervous, right? And I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, this is I'm nervous. And I step up a little bit and I step up. And I felt like a white college kid in the suburbs trying to buy Coke. Like that's how I felt. Like, oh gosh, someone's gonna see me here. Someone's gonna notice me. And I order my food and I walk outside and I like kind of shuffle to my car, like quickly make my way to my car.
Yeah.
And I was so paranoid because I was like, someone somewhere is sitting in their car. Some white family is sitting in the car looking at me, walking out with a bag full of Popeyes. And because I never go to Popeyes, so when I went to Popeyes. I got the giant box of chicken with the gravy and the mashed potatoes, so I can dip my chicken in the gravy and mashed potatoes.
I'm getting hungry now.
Right. So I was like, someone somewhere is gonna look at me and go, honey, look, see, I told you, they love that stuff. And I felt like I was letting my people down. Like, this is not why we marched over the bridge in Selma to be in the spot where I'm disappointing everyone right now.
Actually, I would argue we marched in Selma so we could have the ability to eat fried chicken in peace without people giving us those goddamn looks. Okay? You know what? Because that family that saw you there was at Popeyes for the exact same reason that you were.
We're never going to win any NAACP awards. So in conclusion, we marched for chicken. Like, what?
You know, I didn't actually consider what I had said now that I think about it.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm actually glad you said that, and I'm glad we had this conversation.
My ancestors are just looking at me right now.
No.
That boy did not.
No. So I'm glad we had that conversation because to conclude my story, I realized, wait a minute, what am I even worried about? If someone sees me and they think that I verify their stereotypes and their ideas about black people, that's a them problem, not me. So I started thinking about that, and that brings me to the whole point of this episode and me bringing you on as the co-host and kind of having this be not a typical episode. Okay. So I need us to think of a name for what this episode is going to be. And earlier it just came to me and I was like, I'm going to call it DVD Extras. So this is a bonus episode, not a bonus episode, but this is going to be a regular episode where it's just extras. There isn't going to be we're not going to analyze a movie. We're not going to misinterpret a movie. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look through my notes of ideas that I have written down at random points. When something comes to me, I'll open up my phone and I'll put it in a Google Docs document, and I'll expand upon it later when I analyze a movie.
Okay.
So what I want to do is, I've had you on before, but we've always talked about black topics.
Yeah.
And for good reason. There's a lot of black topics, and it's good to have a space to kind of discuss that around people of color.
Yeah. No,
So,
I mean, it's
super
it is
important. So let me get some water. Hang on. Okay. So it's super important, but also I want people to know that black people as a whole are diverse. We're not confined to just black issues.
Yeah.
And that's something that's actually something that I want to talk about. I actually have this written in my notes that it's so confusing for me because I love when people refer to black voices on black issues. But why is that the only time that black voices are sought out? So whenever I see, I make fun of you and call you the Walmart Don Lemon, but whenever Don Lemon is on or whenever Van Jones is on, it's always a black issue. And my problem is, don't they have any other opinions?
Van Jones is only on to tap dance for people. Let's just put that out there.
He's a good man. He's a good man. I looked at my son and I hugged him a little tighter. Sorry. But the Stephen A. Smith, Van Jones, these guys, it's fine. Get their opinion. It's okay.
Yeah.
But they don't speak for the whole of black people. I don't speak for you, and you don't.
Whoa! Are you checking my credentials?
I don't.
You're absolutely right. No, I am probably not even allowed to be talking out in public about these things.
But
I am pretty sure there's a lot of people just like, you.
I mean, I think that somewhere in someone's definition of the voice of Black America has to include us too, right?
Like we're not on the top of the list. I can tell you that much.
We can get in. We're just not VIP.
Yeah. I mean, they like someone lets us in like after the club's like mostly full and just like, all right,
yeah,
no one's paying attention. You can come in now.
So, which is frustrating because what makes our voices any less black?
Are we the affirmative action for black people when it comes to black people?
Oh man,
that's like a level of inception I don't think I'm ready.
Wait a minute. I don't. Wow, you just made my head hurt. Wow, I wasn't ready for that. I'll have to think about. I'll have to give that some thought. Are we the affirmative action for affirmative? Wait.
Neither one of us are getting any sleep tonight because we're just going to be up for the rest of the night going.
That's going to be that's going to be the next episode. You realize that, right? That's going to be the next episode. But I think it's important to talk about these things because as I said, what makes our voices any less valued as a black voice than any other value? And it comes down to this idea of people have this conception of what it means to be black and what blackness is, and that's all people.
Oh yeah.
And I want to touch on that, and I just want to touch on a wide range of topics, and just to get people a feel for who you are and kind of some of the things
that pretty much
you have, but you have. But I just want to two things. I want to give people a more of a concept of who you are outside of just black issues, even though we're going to touch on those a lot. And also, I didn't feel like writing a full script this week, so here we are. So, should I go with, I really like this song.
I have activated your trap card.
You have activated my trap card. So, I'm going to start with the first topic that I want us to touch on.
Okay.
Ready for this? And I'm going to do it with the song. The most well-known, most critically acclaimed film directors all have distinct styles. Some borrow from others, obviously, but generally, when you see a Tarantino film, you know it's a Tarantino film. Same with Wes Anderson and Stanley Kubrick, J.J. Abrams, Tim Burton, And if you're watching a film with an adult male lead and a romantic relationship with an underage girl and you find it charming and funny until you realize it's an adult male lead in a romantic relationship with an underage girl and you're extra disturbed because the writer-director actually does that in real life, well, that's classic Woody Allen.
Oh, yeah.
So, with that being said, my very first question to you, Joe, is who would win in a fight, Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme? And
Jean-Claude
go.
Van Damme. Jean-Claude, just no. This isn't up for debate. No. I don't care what Steven Seagal has been doing with his career now that he's like a TV deputy cop.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Just he looks stupid, still holding on to the ponytail and the silk PJs. Whatever. Just no. Steven Seagal had his time. That time has gone and went. Jean-Claude Van Damme, you could still see him do the splits and just be like, yes. Like, I mean, come on. That's,
you know what? I'm just gonna push my mic to the side and drink some water and let you just go and go.
I mean, come on. Like, I defy anyone to try to put on a Steven Seagal movie and watch it, to actually watch the movie and not to just laugh at Steven Seagal or the parody of himself that he has become at this point. Where as Jean-Claude Van Damme, I haven't watched the thing he did on Amazon, the thing where it turns, so he plays a role in an Amazon show where apparently he's undercover as a spy, and his cover has been the fact of him being Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's not actually Jean-Claude Van Damme. All of the movies, everything was a cover for him to be a spy and do like missions and stuff.
Thank you everyone for tuning in for this in-depth Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Steven Seagal analysis. I agree. And I wanted to play devil's advocate and argue that Steven Seagal could take Jean-Claude Van Damme, but like, this man is still out here doing. You remember the commercial?
Court, maybe.
Well, not anymore. I don't think that Steven Seagal could win in a court battle because Trump isn't in office anymore. And Steven Seagal, I understand, went full MAGA. I think. Did he?
I don't know. Who's actually been paying attention to his career? That's the whole point of what we're talking about right now.
I haven't been. And when I first came up with this idea for this podcast, one of the first movies I picked was a Steven Seagal movie. Because my thought process was, this is going to be funny and it's going to be stupid and he's the worst. And it was a newer movie. So I picked this movie and I don't remember what it was called or exactly what it was about. But I got about 10 minutes in. And basically, I think some guy tried to rob him or something. And he took this guy down with his bare hands. And he said something along the lines of, they're trying to take our guns so only criminals can have guns. And the message was, only the bad guys have the guns. And the only way to stop a bad guy with the gun is a good guy with the gun. And that was a little bit too MAGA for my liking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't even make a joke out of this because this is just too. This feels bad.
It's not a parody. I was gonna say a parody. I don't know why I was saying parody because there was no. It's a parody watching such a thing.
He's kind of a parody of himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's full on like wish fulfillment. That's like. I'm sure stuff like that is pretty much porn for like ultra heavy right wing, conservatives and stuff like that.
You know what it is? You just reminded me of something. It's white exploitation. Like black exploitation movies were all about wish fulfillment and escapism, where the black man is in charge. It's basically black exploitation films are basically doing things that black people couldn't do in real life because of America.
Yeah.
And this is basically white exploitation.
Which no one has done more for that genre lately than Liam Neeson.
That's true.
His last, I don't even know how many movies. His just career for the past few years. That's exactly what he's done. And
how many times has his daughter been taken?
I'm just saying, at some point, you gotta stop traveling. You gotta, the people you were hanging out with are just bad people.
Maybe find a new crew.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Something. Join a monastery. I mean, for God's sake, like something has to be done. Or like, do you just walk around with a sign that says "Kidnap me" and let's see what my dad does?
I just want you to know that I will promise you on air so that everyone can hear it. If the next Liam Neeson movie is taken from the monastery, I will give you all the money in my bank account. Which admittedly is not a whole lot, but I will give you all of it just for being right about that.
I almost don't want to take you up on that because I feel like something so close. Okay, so I don't know the name of this. There is a Christian filmmaker who decided he was going to make his own John Wick style movie.
Oh no.
And it's the only reason I know about it is because of Wisecrack, the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Which, funny enough, I like the fact that I brought that up because when I was flipping through YouTube like a couple days ago, because I had watched Misinterpreting Movies episode on Saturday.
I have that power. I'm going to use it all the time.
Oh yeah, you pretty much have to. But it literally had Wisecrack videos and stuff.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's just like you were thrown in with the things. So, well, I guess we are thrown in now.
I'm
gonna have to get used to that. That's gonna be so weird. So.
You'll get used to it. By the way, really quick, I don't want to. You just reminded me of something that I wanted to say, but don't lose your train of thought, or lose your train of thought. It doesn't matter.
You like I have a choice.
Yeah, right. I want to let everyone know that. I'm going to have you on as the regular co-host, but also there may be some episodes without you because I'm going to keep doing other episodes as well. I'm just going to keep doing like bonus episodes and things like that. So you are the regular co-host. So if there are episodes where Joe is not involved, he hasn't been fired. Okay, just want to throw that out there.
Joe has been placed on a temporary leave.
He's been placed on
some time to think about.
He's been placed
actions.
on paid leave pending an investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
Which?
Oh, by the way, speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, I heard what you said last week. I appreciate the shout out. I am literally now listening to the audiobook for Lovecraft Country. We're going to do this. We are going to talk about Lovecraft Country. In fact, I say I'm going to rewatch. I'm going to do a rewatch, get it fresh in my head. Then we're going to do a podcast episode. Tyrese, I don't even care what you have to say about this. We're going to do the podcast episode talking about Lovecraft Country. And then during that podcast, we are going to bully Tyrese into watching Lovecraft Country. Tyrese, once again, I don't care what you have to say about it. This is what's going to happen. So, Sarah, we're going to make it happen. We are going to make it happen.
Okay, I'm going to take a little breather here. Let Sarah catch her breath because she probably just got really excited. Okay, and there. Okay, and she's back. So I was playing that music for you because you were. Anytime you go on, I need to download tangent music for you. When you go off on a tangent, I gotta find some music. But anyway, can
I say that is the nicest thing I think anyone's ever done to give me tangent music?
No,
because if anyone. From people listening to the podcast or people who, like Tyrese, know me in real life, this is something I do. And I've actually kind of always wanted tangent music. Like, I will watch Doctor Who, and he'll give a big speech with the music swelling in the background. I'm like, I want that. Oh, give me that.
We will work on that. We will do some behind the scenes production, and you and I will find you some tangent music, and I will let you pick whatever works best for you.
What I want is for me to go on a tangent I want to go on a tangent. Tyrese, I want you to just roll your eyes into the camera and then hit the music and just take a long sip from a cup.
I also, not only that, so we're going to do that. And also, I feel like when you come onto the podcast, I'm going to play some pro wrestling intro music as you walk into the frame. And then I'll do some, oh my God, he's not going to, oh my God. How do you feel about that?
I'm tearing up right now. I am so happy.
This is the point where this show just takes off. So, but
people are either gonna really love this show or just man, they jumped the shark really quickly.
But I mean, I feel like this show started like mid-air over the shark, right? Like, but I want to say this before I forget again. I actually talked to Sarah about doing an episode about Lovecraft Country. Okay. And I would like for us to do it as a 3-person podcast where I am the moderator and you guys just kind of talk amongst yourselves. We'll have to do it in person, but I have some locations that we can use. If you guys have watched the Halloween episode that I did, or listened to the Halloween episode, I actually filmed that in an area that we can also use for that episode. So I want to have all 3 of us together. You 2 can nerd out while I ask stupid questions, and we'll go from there. So that is.
So you don't have to feel bad about asking stupid questions. There's an SNL skit I want you to watch where it's people talking about Lovecraft Country, and it's people trying to explain Lovecraft Country to people who haven't seen the show. And basically the joke is that trying to explain it makes you sound insane, and this is a true thing. I've tried explaining it to people, and I see the look on their face, the look of horror that I kind of see on people's face a lot when I go on tangents, but like particularly I'm like, oh yeah, you really just want to have me committed right now. And it's not my fault. That's how the show is.
I get that look a lot when I just talk in general. So I know what you mean. I start talking about things and people are just like, and then you slowly see them start to kind of like, and then it's gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I can relate to that. But yeah, that's the thing that I definitely think we should do.
Yes, I definitely want to do that. I'm all for that.
So bringing it back to Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal.
As it always is.
I also want to talk about that. So I said we weren't going to talk about black topics, but here we are. We're going to talk about being black. But
here we go.
With a little bit of a twist. I'll share a little bit of a story about myself.
Oh, okay.
And I've shared this story with people before in real life, but this isn't real life. So here we go. I grew up watching a lot of action movies. I loved action movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme was my favorite. Universal Soldier. I got to do an episode on Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier.
It was.
Good.
I know, right? So that movie, just all the action movies, I love them. They all had something in common. All of them had white male leads. And I remember watching them, and we're not going to count Blade because Blade came out a little bit later on in my like movie love career, you could call it. So that didn't hit me in my like child years. But I'm watching movies and I'm like,
that's because you didn't see it in the theater when it first came out.
Yeah. That's true.
That was amazing.
That's true. I missed it. I didn't. Most of the movies that I watched were just on HBO, and whenever I had the time, like I didn't really do anything with friends, so I would watch it on HBO late at night and whatever, especially during the summer.
That's what everyone did. So
yeah.
You see most of your movies.
And for some reason,
what is it? Generation Z. We watched HBO when it was mostly showing movies. So I know they still kind of do that, but everyone watches for a series now. All you kids watching Zendaya and Euphoria, and I haven't gotten around to, God knows if I'll even get around to that.
You kids have no idea how good you have it watching shows and stuff.
We didn't have streaming. We did not have streaming. So if you wanted to watch something, whatever HBO had on, because you were also of that age where you're just like, man, it's like Friday night. I can't go anywhere, but I don't have to go to bed anytime. So let's just see what HBO has to offer. And you know, also Cinemax to a certain degree.
Yeah. You mean Skinemax?
Skinemax.
I remember.
Oh, real quick before.
No, go ahead.
We are of the generation, you and I'm not saying that this happened to you, but we are of the generation of being up late at night and seeing. And my voice is breaking up because this is emotional for me.
This is an emotional moment for you?
Yes. Of seeing real sex on HBO.
I told myself I wouldn't cry.
Which you would watch real sex on HBO around our time because you're just like, oh man, I shouldn't be watching this. And at the same time of you watching to try to get some enjoyment out of it, you're sitting there just like, these are like Oh, these like
You know-
middle-aged people who are naked. Like, whoa!
You know, I'm glad
like,
you said that.
Oh God!
Because I'm gonna do my impression of an episode of Real Sex. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta use an extra microphone because I gotta make it. There was always they had like the individual like interviews with like on the
Yeah,
street.
Oh my God! And you just wanted to see what kind of train wreck was gonna happen
Yeah.
from those interviews.
Yeah. So we're gonna do, and this is my impression of one of the street interviews on Real Sex. Okay, here we go. Hey there, what's your name? My name is Daphne. And what's your name? My name's Steve. All right, Daphne and Steve, how do you guys like to have sex? Well, I like to have sex with a penis. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Well, what I do? Oh my God. And that's it. That's my real sex.
No. Those were the interviews. Those were the street interviews.
And I was like,
you would watch for that. You would watch and get traumatized. And every now and then you'd see something just like, okay, that kind of fit what I thought I was gonna see on the show.
Yeah.
But I've learned more about middle-aged people just becoming comfortable with their sexuality
But it was
than I ever thought I would learn in my life.
It was like, but it felt so. And now, mind you, it's been a while since I watched it, but it felt really like, I don't know. It felt really. This is a show about sex, not just hey, it's a show about sex. It's like this is a show about sex. Now, mind you, I watched it. I liked it.
Oh, because it was the time.
It was cutting edge. It was cutting edge. We didn't have fancy websites, and we didn't have I mean, it was either that or like getting a magazine out of a 7-Eleven, and who wanted to do that? Do that, you know?
Yeah, who would ever go and snatch a magazine out of a Bodie's? I mean, I was young.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. You stole. Let me break this down. Now, this is a judgment-free zone, and I don't want to tear black men down. But just to be clear, hold on. I gotta get a new microphone so that people can hear you clearly. Just to be clear. Wait, no, hold on. That's not enough. There we go. Just to be clear. You stole a pornographic magazine out of Bodie's.
I plead the fifth.
Anyone who lives around here knows what Bodie's is. For the people who don't know, who aren't familiar with Bodie's, let me describe Bodie's to you.
Tyrese, he was the Dagsboro one too.
Oh my gosh. Let me describe Bodie's to anyone who hasn't heard of Bodie's. And this is the best I can do. There was a period in my life where, you know how sometimes there's words that you hear for the first time and you learn the meaning, like slang terms or just certain words that you hear it for the first time and you don't know what it means?
Yeah.
Bodega was a word I had no idea what it meant when I first heard it.
Okay.
And I thought bodega came from Bodie's. I thought Bodie's was the first ever bodega that existed. And I didn't find out that wasn't true until way too late in my life. I was much older than I should have been when I found that out.
But it actually, that's what it describes, because that's pretty much what it was.
And do you remember
the closest thing to a bodega? Like,
do you remember?
we had.
Do you remember the title of this magazine?
I'm not giving you that information. I remember as clear as day. I'm not giving you that information.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That's gonna. I am not incriminating myself that far.
That's fine. I'll let everyone use their imagination.
Wait, that could be worse.
my memory of Bodie's, my only memory of Bodie's is going and heating up. God, this is disgusting. Going and buying a cheeseburger and microwaving the cheeseburger in the little microwave. Mm-hmm. And while it's cooking, I would go over and play some arcade game and then sit there and eat my cheeseburger. Like, does Bodie still exist? Is it still there?
It's still there. It's definitely like scaled. It's whatever luster it had before is completely gone now.
Do they still have the tables?
I think when I was in there, I think they still had tables, I think.
Do you think?
But it looks so run down now.
Do you think that if we spoke with whoever owned that place, that we could film an episode inside of Bodie's? I have the gear. I don't need to plug in. I have portable everything. Could we do an episode at the table in Bodie's? And put it on the Patreon. By the way, it's www.patreon.com/mmoviepod. That's www.patreon.com/mmoviepod. Now, do you think we could do that?
I would love to do that. Oh my god.
I don't know if we can, but I think it's worth a shot.
It's gotta be. Oh my god.
And we're losing a lot of people here with this obscure.
This is, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. I've been listening to the podcast since like 2012. Actually, no, way before that, like 2008 or 9 or whatever. And I've always heard don't do local, local jokes are for like local folks. And I'm actually my first time actually being a co-host of a podcast, and I'm breaking that rule.
You know what? Hold on. You know what? We're black. They've been breaking us for 400 years. Let's break some rules. So I used to go to the Bodie's, and then I leave the Bodie's and go to the Clayton and watch a movie, and then maybe we'll go to Jay's Market, watch some fights in the parking lot after school.
And Jay's was, oh my god, the ice cream.
Yes.
The ice cream. You go to Bodie's for okay, so the burgers at Bodie's that they would make fresh were good. It was the Italian subs they had. What was it, the 2 for 12 or whatever? Subs. That's what you went to Bodie's for. But Jay's, you went for the ice cream.
I went to Jay's for the ice cream and the Scrapple sandwiches.
I forgot about the Scrapple.
I used to toss them on the grill.
Oh my god, yeah. I think about my Scrapple place that I have now, which I haven't been back to because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But the right up here, I don't care if you know, I'm up around Dover, so the Amish farmers market, like the Scrapple sandwiches are.
I just want to talk about that. We just said let's not go local, and now we're talking about your favorite Scrapple spot. What other place in the world has a favorite Scrapple spot?
I'm just okay for all the people who might be listening from you know, like New York, New Jersey stuff.
Yeah,
that bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese is good too.
So
real good.
And for everyone else who may be listening around the world who are not familiar with what Scrapple is, I'll describe Scrapple to you.
Oh, dude.
So imagine all the food you can get from a pig. Just the most parts of the pig are used. Scrapple. Now, I'm not a scientist. I can't verify this. But imagine all of the unused pig parts compressed together in like a trash compactor and shaped into a cube. That's Scrapple. Fried up.
And that's exactly how it looks. That's really how it looks.
It's like it's gray with little like freckles in it, and it's got little like just bits where it's just like, I don't know. It's weird and mushy before you cook it.
Here's the thing: anyone who's not from like this Delmarva area and stuff, I dare you to get Scrapple. Go home and cook it. Like, look up on.
Oh no! Hey, your mic stopped working. Okay.
I'm sorry. I got so excited I tapped the mute button. Dear God.
Okay, so Scrapple.
You get some Scrapple. Go watch YouTube videos on how to cook it, because if you've never cooked it before, you don't want to mess it up. You got to make sure it's almost like tofu when you. Oh yeah, it's kind of almost like tofu when you're cooking it. You want a certain like firmness.
By the way, I'm the Scrapple King, just so you know. Are we going to have
We're gonna have to test that out.
Are we going to
test that out?
Okay, so
I may not be the Scrapple King, but I am the Breakfast King.
This is the excellent. Okay, so this is amazing. We are planning shows live on air right now. So let me share another thing with you that I wanted to do. So I was considering, and this is not set in stone, I was considering have the shows alternate. 1 week we'll do a Misinterpreting Movies analysis, like a traditional show, and then the next week we have just different episodes where we have fun doing different things to keep it fresh.
Okay.
So,
okay.
and that'll give me time. That'll give me 2 weeks to write up a script and analyze the movie and all of that, and then we can just mix it up a little bit.
Look, people, Tyrese puts like real like hard work. I mean, if you've actually been, if you're people, for one thing, Patreon people, Patreon.
Yes, thank you, Patreon people.
Join the Patreon.
Yes.
But Tyrese, before the last episode went up, released the script for the episode, and it really goes to show you. So, if you haven't seen that, Tyrese has told me the scripts, like not like way beforehand. Usually, like he tells me a little bit about it before we start. But Tyrese puts like real thought into the scripts. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, it's purposely misinterpreting things, but he's really and it's not like, oh, he has to like pull something out of his ass to make it work. No. It's like he's finding actual things to support his theory that he's trying to say what the movie's about, and it's done very well.
Thank you.
I'm the idiot on the podcast now. Basically, I'm here to just throw in jokes and then occasionally black out and have an insightful thought and then snap back to making jokes.
I'll black out and have an insightful thought. It's like, whoa, who said that? It wasn't me.
Yeah, we did that before. The Trump.
Yeah.
The Trump episode.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, wait, I feel like I blacked out.
Oh yeah. But so thank you for that. I appreciate it. So one thing that I wanted to do. So one thing, an idea you just gave me is we should have a Scrapple cook-off, and and we'll have people judging our dishes, and we can have like 3 rounds where we do different breakfast things. Now, mind you,
Well, so are we doing Scrapple or are we doing breakfast things? Because you might beat me on Scrapple, but
I don't know.
You're not beating me on breakfast.
I don't know.
You're
So
not beating me on breakfast.
I think it would be
There's
cool
no
because
chance.
I specialize in Scrapple, right? But I'm not great at everything else. So it will be like a fun like British Bake Off. Like we do different
Okay.
rounds. But so here's my thing. I am probably one of, if not the worst cook in the world. But
Really?
yeah. No, I'm not much of a cook because my mother, and she has good reason for this, she would keep me as far away from the kitchen as possible because she was afraid I'd burn the house down.
Oh, you were one of those kids.
I'm just a clumsy guy.
I'm clumsy too.
Yeah. So I don't spend much time in the kitchen. I have my things that I make that I like, but they're pretty basic. Like I have things that I make that I eat that are, I don't want to eat out all the time, so I make myself certain foods, but they're pretty basic. They're great for me, but cooking for other people, they would just be like, what is this? I'm not eating this.
I enjoy cooking for other people. In fact, there's an anime that's okay. Look, if you know. Food Wars. Love Food Wars. Food Wars is the shit. Don't watch that shit when your parents are around or like anyone. Like if you have like a girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other or whoever, like if you want them to like value you, test the waters with them before you just happen to have that on, because there's some stuff. But it's a great show. But honestly, that show has made me want to cook more. I enjoy cooking for people. I literally sometimes just like, I'll cook for whoever, just like, hey, just so I can have someone, have the food and just like, oh my God, this is great. I once made a pot for my cousin. I once made an entire pot. We're talking about like yay big of chicken and broccoli Alfredo. And
I'm going to lose this competition.
And I just gave it to them, and they were just like, "We have enough for like a week." And I'm just like, "You're welcome, bro." Hit me with that beat again.
Okay.
Hit me with that beat that you had before.
Let me
tell you how good I am at breakfast. Okay. I'm so good at breakfast that my ex, when I go over to see my youngest two kids, my ex's husband will be excited if I make breakfast. That's how good I am at breakfast. And those are facts.
Oh
Those
man,
are real facts.
I'm reconsidering my offer there for this competition, but I'm not backing down. I'm not quitting.
Tyrese, even if we don't compete in the whole breakfast, let me make you breakfast. Let me just make you breakfast, and I just want to like have video of you like eating it.
Just know
on your face.
that I haven't searched for this myself, but I bet this is the title of a '90s R&B song. Let me make you breakfast. It's gotta be, right? Like,
It's gotta be, but like
Tevin Campbell has to have written a
seriously.
song called "Let Me Make You Breakfast." He may not have released it, but he definitely wrote that song.
if I had the money, I would so hire Tevin Campbell to make that song and to make a video, and it just be him singing in the kitchen with me as I'm making breakfast. I want this. I don't know if this is ever going to be possible. I swear, if this is something I can ever achieve, I will die happy.
Well, if you guys hit that,
that's just.
if you guys hit that Patreon, we can make that happen. We just start a GoFundMe for get Tevin Campbell to write and sing "Let Me Make You Breakfast."
You know what? Even if we can't get Tevin Campbell, maybe we should just make this a thing. I want to make a music video where I'm making breakfast.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to sing in it. I just want to make breakfast.
Okay, I will.
Like, I enjoy making breakfast for people.
I will sing in it. I
So.
can't really do like R&B singing, but I have auto tune. I could do that. And that's what all the kids are doing nowadays. Or if you want to make it like an acoustic emo song, I got you covered. Even if you want to make it a rap song, I can do that too. The R&B singing, you gotta.
Bro, what can be sad when they're eating my breakfast?
I don't know.
No one can be emo when they're eating my breakfast.
I don't know. Chris Carrabba could do it. He could be sad about anything.
Okay, Dude, did you hear what happened to him?
No, what happened to him?
He's recovering from being in a really bad accident last year. 2020 was not good for him.
I had
either.
no
He was
idea.
supposed to be touring. He was supposed to be touring when the pandemic hit. And he got in a really bad accident.
Oh, that
and
sucks.
He's had trouble actually having mobility and stuff.
No way.
He can only play the guitar for a certain amount of time before his arms and back start killing him. I just found this out, and I was just
Well-
oh my god, that makes 2020 even more depressing.
I'm mad because you ruined my joke by making me feel feelings. I am the victim here. Get real soon, Chris Carrabba. Sorry.
Yeah. Bro, seriously, bro. Don't stop. We just get better. I hope you feel better. I don't need new music from you. Just keep making the old music. Just keep recording the old stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
By the way,
But get better, dude.
some behind the scenes technical things for misinterpreting movies. I don't know what it looks like on your end, but our video and audio have fallen completely out of sync. But that's okay. That's okay because I can fix that when I edit it. Just if it looks weird, don't worry. I'll fix it, and people won't even know unless they hear me telling them right now. So,
So
after
does
that
it
first
look like
topic,
I'm in a dubbed kung fu video.
kind of, yeah.
Does it look like I'm in a dubbed kung fu video?
That's gonna drive me nuts when I go to edit and
sorry,
your
couldn't
lips
resist
don't match up to what I'm trying to. So thank you for that. Thank you for making my job a little bit harder. So to conclude what we had just said, yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme would win a martial arts battle.
Yeah, hands down. Hands down.
But to bring it back again to something else another point I wanted to make about white male action heroes. Where were all the black ones?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk about, I'm wearing, this shirt. I don't know if you can see it. I have this on
I can see it.
my board here, which I don't know if you can see that either. And this podcast is very black. It's very black. But I kind of wanted to make a point that
double is black.
What was that?
I was saying double is black.
Yeah, double is black. 100% more black. Some people may disagree with that, but I want to make the
So many
point.
people that know us.
We've talked about Dashboard Confessional. We talked about Steven Seagal. We talked about Jean-Claude Van Damme. We talked about a lot of things, right?
Yes.
But I kind of want to make a point that like people don't get to define what being black means, like what it is.
Yeah.
People don't get to tell us how to be black. So I just want to talk about that because it's something that you and I have talked about a lot, and we're going to talk about it some more. And I want to talk about it for anyone who's listening who may happen to be black. Happy Black History Month. But I want to talk about this thing that people do where there's this definition of what it means to be black. Yeah. And people may not always realize how, I guess, damaging is the word. Stifling. That's a great word. How stifling that is. And it comes from people who are black and people who aren't black as well. It comes from all sides. And I kind of want to talk about your experiences with that, with being told how to black and that kind of thing. And just what black identity means and what the quote unquote black community is. Because I have a lot of thoughts that I've shared on other podcasts, but I'm going to share them again because whatever. It's our show. We can do what we want.
This is true.
So if you want to go first, or I can go first, if you want to gather your thoughts, up to you.
Okay, I guess this is hey everyone, it's a lucid moment. Like
Lucidity.
yeah. Honestly, the whole idea of, I guess I consider it my black identity. In particular, because that's the only way I can really look at it. Because it's not just about being black, but it's my relationship in being black to my community, to pretty much all of the facets of my life. Like Terry said, so many times I've gotten it from black people, from non-black people. Like, oh, you're so white, you talk like this, you talk like that. Oh my God, I'm blacker than you, which I'm just like, if you're really blacker than me, then let's see how often that you get nervous when you get pulled over by the cops. You know, if you're really blacker than me, let's see you get upset when you see injustices upon other black people. Like if you were really as black as, you know, you jokingly say that you are, then you would understand that saying that to me is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I have come to a point because I struggled with it a lot, and then there was a certain point in time during high school where like everyone knew that I was like a nerd into like comic books and cartoons, anime, things like that, where I started to distance myself away from that because I wanted to not necessarily fit in more, but just shake off some of that stuff and really kind of integrate myself. Not necessarily even into the black community, but that was definitely a function of it. I think it's been more of a issue of, so I was gonna say finding like-minded black people, but by like-minded black people I mean open-minded black people who, when it comes to black issues, black is relative to our communal, to our learn, to our, I was going to say heretical, but I don't think that's how you would say heritage.
People know what you mean.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm sorry. Sometimes I go to use big words and then I immediately forget if what I'm saying makes sense or not.
We'll just call it buffering. It's fine.
Yeah, I buffer so much. But as I've come to get older, those are the things I focus on. Not so much this appearance of being black. I'm not trying to put on, and it's not the same thing, but I'm not trying to put on a black face, a black outward face for people to include me and accept my blackness. My blackness is just part of how I do everything. Even though I've listened to and I've been part of like rock bands making like punk music, pop punk music, metal music, folk music, like all kinds of stuff. Like me doing it compared to other people is just where my blackness is, because I can't. The real thing of blackness is you can't separate your blackness from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is part and parcel of the way things are. And it's always going to be, even though it's not the main focus I want it to be, playing music, reading comics, reading books, anything I do is going to have a touch of my black identity to it, because it's how I exist in these forms as a black person.
And I believe it was, I don't remember who said this. I can't remember who said this, but I read a book about kind of how ridiculous it is to expect people, black people especially, to ignore race, or how ridiculous it is when people say they don't see color, or to not have race be such an important part of their identity, because we live in, as she called it, a race-conscious society. So if you're constantly being reminded that your skin color is significant, and you're reminded by, law enforcement, or you're reminded by just everywhere you look, it's your skin is darker, so you're different. We call you something different. You're black. We have to hyphenate your name. You're not just American. You're something else American. There's so many things to identify you as different that, of course, you're conscious of it.
Yeah.
If you're white, your race is hardly ever mentioned because it's viewed as a default, and that is the standard by which all other people should be measured. And without going off on too much more of a tangent about that, something you said was reminding me of something that is related to something that I dealt with as well, and comes with the music and with rock music and things like that. I started to come into my own with my identity just slowly in bits and pieces, and over time it takes a while to get comfortable with who you are, with your identity, no matter what your identity is, especially when it's a minority identity, because people are constantly telling you it's wrong. So you're constantly getting in any minority identity, and that includes women.
Yes.
That includes your sexuality, your gender, all that stuff. If you're not in the majority, you're told that you're wrong. So for me, I've been a fan of hip hop my whole life.
Yeah.
And that was the first genre of music that I fell in love with. And then I started to branch out, also as a kid, probably like, I don't know, I'm talking like 9 or 10 years old. I started to branch out into other music just because I loved hip hop, but I only had access to so much of it. It was cassette tapes from my brother, or stuff that was on the radio. I've heard all of this. I want to hear more. So I would just scan the radio and find stuff on the radio. And then I would watch MTV, and I was getting into more music because I was in love with hip hop, but I was also in love with just music.
Yeah.
So I needed more of it. So, now I love music. And I remember I know who it was, but I'm not going to say it because it was a long time ago. But I came to school one day, and I was in middle school, I believe, and everyone was talking about a brand new rap album that had just come out. It was like mainstream rap. And there was this kid in my class who was black, stereotypically black.
Yeah.
And everyone was going to him for his opinion on this album, and he was talking about it as if he was like an expert on it, and they were like, wow, really? And he was like, yeah, and he was talking about it, and I'm standing next to him, and I'm like, wow, he knows nothing about this album. Like, he doesn't appreciate this art like I do, right? But I couldn't say anything because I wasn't the quote unquote, he was blacker than me, right? I was a kid who listened to rock music. I was a kid who listened to just different kinds of rock, basically. And it made me, later on I realized, I was like, wait a minute, look at what's happened. Look at this change that's occurred here, because rap music is quote unquote black people music, and rock and roll is quote unquote white people music. That's the town we grew up in. That's what people said. That's what people believed. But like, black people started rock and roll too. So when I listen to Limp Bizkit, when I listen to Slipknot, I'm listening to black people music. You know, when Chuck Berry wasn't farting and peeing on women, he was making classic rock music.
Sometimes you like to forget.
So I'm not gonna let you.
Like to forget.
Fats Domino was making rock music, but somehow it became quote unquote white people music, and it's wrong. First of all, to me, to give it a color, right? Music is just music, but when you've completely forgotten the origins of it, that tells me that, like, I remember when I first saw the lead singer of Seven Dust, and I was like, whoa, he's black?
Yes,
get the heck out of here.
That was an important
right. I remember trying to make myself like Lenny Kravitz. I remember listening to his music going, I'm supposed to like this because he's a black man making rock music.
He had a couple of good songs, but if someone sat me down in front of one of his albums, I couldn't do it.
I just ruined my chances of ever dating Zoe Kravitz, by the way. So we can cross that dream off the list.
Yeah, that's what did it.
That's the only thing that did it. Come on, I'm bringing a lot to the table here.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to that, you know, there were so many things that so much of my journey into like being comfortable with my identity came from music, because I love music. And just the way that people interact with music, like when people say things like, when my white friends and acquaintances and peers would call rap music black people music. And then those same people would say, well, you know, I don't listen to rap because it's all just violence and sexism and things like that. Yep. And my response to that was twofold. If you've never listened to it, how do you know what it's about? Number one. And number two, if you're viewing it as violent and sexist and all these things, and it's black people music, well, what do you think about black people? So when you tell me that I'm not acting black enough, what does that mean?
Exactly.
And when you tell me that by listening to Korn or whatever I was listening to back then, that I'm acting white, like, you need to know that I'm listening to it because I like it, not because I'm trying to impress you. So when you accept me because I'm listening to quote unquote white people music, I don't want that acceptance. Like, I don't want to be in your group because I'm not doing this to impress you. When I speak the way I do, it's not because I'm trying to cover something up. Like, this is just who I am. So that made me, you know, question what was going on around the way people were treating my identity. And also, you and I went to school together, and I'm looking around and I'm like, why are we like one of 3 black people in the quote unquote smart classes? Like, where why is
when
it that
I first met you,
why is
in 5th grade,
yeah,
it was you, me, and Donis.
Yeah.
And literally, you were the only one who didn't have the last name Smith.
Right. Like, and I'm looking around, like, as we go farther down into like the level of classes, they slowly gets darker, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, hold on. If we look at race and what race is, it's social, it's cultural, it's not real, right? When we divide people by race, it makes as much sense as dividing people by hair. Like, there's no real difference. Yeah. So if you look at the quote unquote like general level and below classes are darker and the advanced classes are lighter, well, there's something going on here socially, right? Yeah. Because it's a social construct. Now, either it's not simple, like maybe it's like poverty, maybe it's not having access to certain education, maybe it's white teachers not being able to connect with black kids, maybe it's like, it's a million different things, but it's not because these kids are dumber and these kids are smarter, right? Yeah. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, oh man, school is kind of segregated. So all of these things, it's kind of, I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, I don't feel less than because I'm black, but I feel like other people view me as less than because I'm black, and that's wrong, right? So I feel like I'm viewed as less than because I'm black, and I feel like I have to do XYZ things when Chad only has to do X thing. Not actually Chad. Chad is just a generic white name.
I think, did we?
I've met so many people that I'm sure I met a few Chads.
I can't think of really any. Yeah, I'm sure
Chads
there's gotta
and
be like one, but
Hunters and
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
He's beautiful. I'm gonna name him after my favorite thing to do, Hunter. So
we're taking a sip.
Yeah, take a sip. Let's take a sip on that. So now, what and what I do now is I think it's possible to kind of overcorrect, and
it is. It definitely is.
And say that I'm not going to fit your definition of blackness, and I'm just going to be completely the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. But when you do that, you're still performing. You're performing. You're still letting that affect you. So I kind of gotten to a point now where I just exist, and I think that by doing that, I passively kind of break stereotypes, by doing it. And I'm not doing it for the racist, don't tread on me, rebel flag on my pickup truck people. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for the other people who are like me, who are unsure or just uncomfortable about their identity and they don't know why. Mm-hmm. Like, why am I uncomfortable being black? I love being black. Why am I uncomfortable? Oh, it's not me, it's them. Like, us people making me feel uncomfortable. So I say all that to say representation is important. And when I'm watching these movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal, like, it would have been nice to have a black actor to look to, and not just the Steven Seagals. Yes. It would have been nice to have, like, I love Terminator, but it would have been nice to have a black Terminator. Oh, someone should do that. Anyway, that would have been nice,
Sorry, my brain is immediately like, who would be?
Do you remember when? Well, I would say Terry Crews, but
no, we don't need to bring him up. Technically, before 2020 ruined my cosplay, everything with him kind of just was ruining my. I have cosplayed 2 Terry Crews characters at cons. I've done Terry from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I've done why can't I think of his name? I can't think of his name because my brain doesn't want to think of his name. But his character on Everybody Hates Chris. I have cosplayed 2 of those characters. I was gonna work my way through all of the Terry Crews characters until everything happened, and I'm just like, you know what? We're not gonna do this shit. Maybe one day, not now.
That just, it broke my heart, man.
It did.
It was like, to me, it's on the same level as when...
Dude, I met him and it...
I know. I got really jealous. Yeah. And guess what? Not jealous anymore.
No, I kind of look at it like, I used to tell people, oh yeah, I met Terry Crews and everything, and blah, blah, blah. And then now it's just like I see the picture. Like, if I see it, I'm just like...
Yeah. Here's your memory from, swipe. I don't need that memory.
Like I'm good. Like, he was nice in person, but not only to let me state this, because not that I think anyone listening to the podcast, which I feel like now I'm kind of judging the podcast or putting expectations on the people who listen to the podcast, but it's not that I disagree with Terry Crews, so I think he's trash. Is that I think things that he said were way off base, and because instead of being able to talk it through, his idea was like, I'm going to be extra strong and extra wrong, and just triple down on it. And it's just like, not really worried about you right now, bro.
It reminds it to me. It was on the same level as the same level of heartbreak for me. And actually, it wasn't even as. It was just a step below the level of heartbreak when I watched the Dave Chappelle special, and I was like, this is funny, this is funny, this is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started doing like trans jokes, and he started doing he started talking about, I think part of his, I don't remember exactly, but one of his jokes was in talking about how the fight for LGBTQ rights aren't, it's not on the same level as black civil rights and things like that. And it sucked because I have always been such a huge Dave Chappelle fan, not just him as a comedian, but him as a person, and also just him as a comedian also, and as a writer, and just the way that he puts his jokes together, and the way that he just, so much of them. Like, I was a student of Dave Chappelle, I'm watching it, and my thing with jokes is jokes are always based in some truth, right? And in order to enjoy a comedian, you have to agree on what that truth is. It's why one comedian can tell a joke and another comedian can tell the exact same joke, but it just feels different because it's coming from someone who's racist, and that truth of the joke is built on racism, right? Whereas the truth of this joke is based on shared suffering. So when Dave Chappelle told his trans jokes and things like that, and his queer jokes, I'm like, I don't agree with the truth that you're building. Like, I know what the truth is that you're building on, and I can't get down with that. But with him, it felt like someone who was just not educated on the topic, right? And same with Terry Crews to some extent. But I'm watching this special, and I appreciated it because it was honest, but it felt like someone who just had a gap in his education. So I'm going, okay, this sucks, but I'm hoping he learns from this, because maybe he didn't have anyone giving him this information. Maybe he just didn't know. So I'm hoping that his content from here on out shows that growth. And I have noticed that a little bit. But
okay, see, I've been in this weird nebulous holding thing where I am definitely still a fan, but it's just like, I just don't. You know, one of your friends pretends to be a shark in the pool, and then all of a sudden now you're like, I don't know if I want to get back in the pool. But,
well, it's kind of like, and I'm going to make another jump here, but it's kind of like, I mentioned Woody Allen earlier in the episode. It feels like 5 hours ago, but I mentioned Woody Allen.
Actually, it was.
Yeah, right. But I mentioned Woody Allen because I have always been a fan of Woody Allen, like his movies. I'm into filmmaking as well, so his movies, the way he directs, his dialogue, all that stuff, I was a really big fan of it.
I've seen your DVD shelves, so I can.
Yeah. I'd always been a fan of his, right? So. But then when I started to learn more about him, it's one of those things where, you know, I did an episode on cancel culture where I talked about everyone has their limit.
I was on that episode.
Yeah, was that you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I thought it was the other black guest that I had on the show. That's funny because you're the only one.
Yeah, exactly.
But everybody has their line, right? And he has crossed the line so much that I can't even watch his movies and appreciate the art anymore.
He didn't cross the line. Like, he was like Olympic, like, track and field athlete, and just like jumped.
He's so far over the line, he's about to cross it again.
Exactly.
And same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly's great at making music. I can't appreciate the art anymore because the artist is so, I'm gonna use a big word here. Wait, hold on. Okay. The artist is so contemptible. Thank you. I need to give myself credit for that.
Yes.
But with Dave Chappelle, it's like, I won't watch that episode. I won't watch that stand-up special anymore, but I can still appreciate him and his art because I do feel like it's, on some level, it's unfair to expect people to match with you on all of your beliefs 100%. So it's like, again, finding that line is how far can someone deviate from your line before you break away from them. And I do think that Dave Chappelle, I've watched some of his stand-up and listened to some of what he said. I do think that after that special, with some of the things that he said, some of the feedback, he genuinely took some of that in. And I still don't think he's where he should be as far as what he believes and what he thinks. But I can work with that. You know, I know that, you know, homophobia is big amongst a lot of black people that I talk to. That I have interacted with. and I know that that's big. Now all I can do is do my part to say, hey, that's not cool, and just speak my truth and what
I was gonna make a black joke right then, and I just mentally had to be like, nope, don't do it.
I mean, you can.
I was gonna say that, like, unfortunately, homophobia is big in the black community, like diabetes.
Oh.
And then I look at myself and I'm like, am I the problem?
Homophobia. Homophobia is more common in black communities than McDonald's. Which, again, we're just going to go, since this is an episode where there's no real structure, we're just going to jump to another topic. We're going to talk about that word, black community. And we've talked about this before, but we're going to talk about it again. And I always say this a lot, that my idea, and I believe we disagreed on this before, unless it was the other black guest that I had. In my mind, the goal of the black community is to make people realize that there is no such thing as a black community. I think that...
Okay, I'm picking back up on where we were.
Yeah. I feel like we're so diverse as people that the only things that tie us all together, the thing that ties me to LeBron James, the thing that I have nothing in common with LeBron James, right? A thing that ties me to Terry Crews.
Oh, I just had to stop. I was gonna say bald, and then I was just like, I'm not gonna do that to King James. I'm not gonna do that.
I just shave it off, man. Just give it up. Just give it up.
Just for real talk. Just it's gotta go. Gotta go.
You and Kevin Durant, just let it go. But anyway,
I don't even follow sports anymore. But like, even I was just like, ooh, yep.
So yeah, like the thing that ties me to Beyonce, right? I can't hold a candle to everything that Beyonce's done, but we are part of a community, so to speak, because of the way that we are viewed by other people. My specific discrimination looks differently when it's coming towards me to when it's going to her.
Yeah.
You know, she may not be able to get in certain meetings with CEOs. Like, you know, LeBron James may not. He may get a few $100 million knocked off this deal with Nike or whoever because he's black versus someone else. Whereas I don't have that problem. But we still have something in common.
How much are you getting from Nike?
Yeah, none. Nothing. If you ever see me
say, wait, is there something like you didn't tell me? Like, bro, you need to share. Like,
if you see me wearing all Nike gear, I put my feet up on the desk and there's just Nikes, like, you'll know. But I'm just hoarding money from you, like.
Yeah, a little bit of black news.
Yes.
Master P is buying Reebok.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Let's see if Black Economic Twitter and other groups are really going to put their money where their mouth is and, like, you know, make that a hot line. Although, I mean, really, like, Champion became... Remember Champion from, like, back in the day? Remember when, like, you got teased for getting Champion? You got, like, picked on. Like, maybe you had Champion gym shorts, and that was, you know, that was the only acceptable thing. And now, like, you go pay, like, ridiculous money for, like, anything Champion.
Which is another thing. Bring it back to what it means to be black. It changes over time. Do you remember... I remember this very clearly. I had I spent a lot of time growing up in Ocean City. And for those who don't know, Ocean City is a resort town, and it's just Ocean City.
So shitty.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty. So the area where I live, it's a bunch of different beaches, bunch of different resort towns, and all of them have a different vibe, a different feel.
They really do.
They really do.
Actually weird.
Ocean City.
Like awkward.
Ocean City is the hood. Ocean City, as hood as a beach town can get, it's Ocean City. Now, mind you, it's
Ocean City is the hood, and then Bethany and Lewis are just like freaking like sweaters tied around your neck, and like standing on a boat, just like watching. You know, with boat shoes, just watching like kites being flown or something. That doesn't even make sense as like some kind of like metaphor, but I feel like it's still actually painted like a very vivid picture. We're once again doing local stuff. Why are we doing
I don't know. Where did I even go with this? Ocean City. Oh, yes. So yeah. grew up in. I spent a lot of time in Ocean City growing up, and Ocean City is just one long street. It's one long road that cuts through the entire town, and there's cross streets at every one. There's like 150 or so cross streets. I bought a longboard to get around because it was easier than taking the bus to go 3 blocks down the road. Right, so I bought a longboard and I would take it with me because I worked in Ocean City also. And I remember, I took my longboard into a different beach, Bethany Beach. And I saw a few people that I knew, and they were making fun of me because I was black and I was skateboarding. And my response to that was, I don't care that you don't like this. It's an easy way to get around, right? So fast forward to a few years later, and Lil Wayne made it cool to skateboard, and now skateboarding was a black thing. And I'm like, you can't.
Lil Wayne make it? I mean, I give it a Lupe.
Yeah, I think Lupe. That's a good point. So I would say,
no, let's face it. The thing that made black people who weren't already skating in the community start skating was fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
I agree. I guess what I'm saying is,
but he made it mainstream for like now.
I guess
it was like the door was open so much, and he just kind of kicked the door the rest of the way in.
I guess what I'm saying is, in my experience, it was Tony Hawk, it was Lupe, but the person that I noticed who made it acceptable to white people was Lil Wayne, right? So that's when I could carry a skateboard around, and maybe it was just my group of friends.
I see that. It depresses me. But
yeah,
no, I see it now.
So now all of a sudden, skateboarding was black when before it wasn't, and it's just like, you guys have no idea what black is, do you? Like, you have no idea. And when being a nerd became cool, like the thick glasses, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Clean these off right now.
Really?
Thick glasses.
Yeah.
Who would ever wear thick glasses?
Right. So you kind of realize that over time, it's just like, none of these definitions make any sense. It doesn't. So you're wasting your time trying to fit in. Just be whoever you are, like whatever that may be. And it's difficult when you live in these small towns like you and I did, where there's so few people around and there's so few options for who you want to hang around with. And
not even just that, I feel like people are also keeping secrets, and not like Twin Peaks style secrets.
Yeah, man.
Who people really are, because you're going to get beaten down if you stand out. So,
right.
Like, you don't even know how people really, really are.
Yeah.
Unless you're like best friends with them and stuff, and then you're just like, oh, okay, well, like, we're both into this stuff, but it's like no one else.
Even now, where like the people who I surround myself with are pretty, for the most part, secure in who they are. But even now, like certain things that I do, like it's like starting a podcast. I was like, I didn't realize podcasting was as popular as it is. I had no idea. I found a few podcasts that I like. I've been listening to them for a long time. I was like, you know what? I have this equipment. I'm about to get quarantined. Why not just do it? So I started it, and a lot of people were like, wow, I've always wanted to start a podcast. I love podcasts. I'm like, what? I thought I was the only one. I recently started playing Dungeons and Dragons. So many people like Dungeons and Dragons.
I hate you. I've still never played Dungeons and Dragons yet, and that's one of the nerd things. I've been to San Diego Comic-Con, people, but I have still not yet played a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow. Let me tell you, that's another thing that I'm planning on doing, is having a Dungeons and Dragons bonus episode where and by the way, for people who are listening, I'm giving a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm working on. Please, when you see me, tell me what you think about these things, these ideas. When you listen and you see me in person, or you see Joe, or even on...
Whoa. Don't come see me in person.
Go see Joe in person, please. I'll give you his address. No, I'm joking.
Oh, dear.
But let me know what you think of these ideas. So, this idea that I've been it's still in the planning stages, but I actually want to have a one-off D&D campaign that just runs the course of one show. And I want to have it, and there's a podcast that already does. You told me about it, but I want to have it either.
Is there?
Yeah, you told me about this. A podcast that does the plots to a movie.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's Film Reroll Podcast.
Yes. So shout out to you guys for giving me this cool idea. See, at least I admit when I steal things. So I want to have that be for one show, or like I want to have it be the plot of a movie, or maybe we change the plot a little bit and do it just something that's movie related. But I want to have a one-off episode. And again, I think this will have to be in person, or maybe it won't have to be. We'll figure it out. But I do want to have a D&D episode of the podcast, so you're on 100%.
Yay. Which may not be the best thing.
No, it'll be great.
I've really gotten into this podcast called Dungeons and Daddies. I'm just I understand what it sounds like. It's from.
Is that what the magazine was called that you took out of the Bodies?
I am never. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that information. After.
Are you quitting the podcast already? Like.
Yeah, exactly. I am done. This is good. I'm done.
Well, it's been fun. No, but I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm gonna treat this podcast like I treat both of my jobs. I'm gonna quit every time it's done, and then I'm just like, hey guys, I'm back.
I honestly don't know why people are friends with me, because I said the other day, someone asked for a moist towelette, and I was like, that's it. That's my OnlyFans name. And they stopped talking to me.
I would too. Actually, no, I can't say that I would. You've done way worse to me, and we're still friends. We've been friends since 5th grade.
I am a horrible human being. I just realized this.
Sometimes you are.
Hey, man. At least I own it.
I mean, I am just, well, there are stories I could tell you that my friends could tell you that I have perfected the art of being a lovable jerk.
Well,
but
that can be a future episode as well.
We'll do that in a future
Tales from
episode.
the Vault. Okay, go ahead.
But this, so Dungeons and Daddies, not a BDSM podcast. That's literally their tagline. Is a rocket jump podcast, and I think I don't know if Julie has listened to it. Oh, by the way, hi Julie. I literally listen to a whole bunch of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff now.
Look at us helping people out.
Yes, I'm terrified to play Dungeons and Dragons, to be honest with you. But,
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
But it's supposed to be a Dungeons and Dragons style podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done by people who pretty much do like a lot of comedy stuff. You've seen rocket jump stuff online.
Maybe.
They've done like the Call of Duty cat and stuff like that. Well, that was like years back.
Maybe. I'm not. It's not ringing any bells.
I'll have to show you some stuff. But they're extremely goofy. So many things are done for jokes, and it's like every now and then when there's just like, oh wait, we're actually using real straight up D&D mechanics for this. It's like, holy crap, we're actually a D&D podcast.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to whatever. And I feel like I'm tainted now with that because I already have a hard enough time keeping my humor and my jokes. And look, I'm a failed comedian. I'm a failed, never started comedian. I've always been, and this is what Tyrese is. This is shame this man. This is what he's doing to you. He brought me in, to make the podcast fun. I secretly think he brought me in just to make himself seem smarter because I'm going to tell asinine jokes the entire time.
Actually,
look, I'm on to you.
I made a bet or a deal with someone who I can't tell you about on air because it's supposed to be a secret. But I will tell you about it off air. But
this sounds like something that happened.
No, this is something that's going to happen, and you're more than welcome to be a part of it.
I just snorted.
So I can't tell you what this is on air, but I will tell you off air. I will say this to the person who I know is listening. It's about our bet that we made, Samantha. Okay, moving on. Why
did that just sound super ominous? Like I'm expecting you to be like, Samantha, it's our time. Our time has now come. It's now. It's now. Like I literally legit just got
this is the way. No, it might be fun. It might be the most embarrassing thing we've ever done. But
now it might be fun. Hold on. The most embarrassing thing I've ever done.
Yeah, now you're a part of it. You can be if you want to be. I think you'll want
Tyrese, to be. I've done some pretty embarrassing things.
Oh,
You've been around for some of the embarrassing things.
This might be the most embarrassing, or it might be the best thing. Who knows? But all I know is
they are both in the same.
All I know is we're guaranteed to have a winner and a couple losers. And maybe, you know what? Maybe this will be on the podcast as well, but I doubt it because it's supposed to be top secret. And also, never talk about local things and never talk about inside jokes that you can't actually talk about. So the listeners have no idea what you're saying.
Look, I got just after that one thing, the incident that shall not be named in that one podcast you were talking about.
Yes.
And it's just like what happened?
Take that to the grave.
Just like,
I was actually considering saying what the thing was and just bleeping it out afterwards. Mm-hmm. But no, I'll just actually tell you off air because I think you're going to want to talk about it some more, and I don't know if you're going to agree to it or not. I have no idea.
See, I am genuinely kind of afraid. I mean, look, I was afraid of doing the podcast. You saw my post the other day of the stress really starting to hit about doing the podcast.
Yep.
You guys think I don't know what you guys think of me. Actually, that's to be honest, I don't know what you guys think of me. Some of your opinions are dead on. I don't know what they are, but they're dead on.
It's gotta be. Hey, you gotta be right sometimes.
Yeah. But I'm not me and Tyrese we've known each other for a long time. We play off each other very well. I try to be a very amicable person and try to joke and have fun with people because that's what I like. I am terrified and neurotic most of the time. And the look of fear you see on my face right now because I can feel it starting to show up, that's not a joke. That's real.
You are not going to do this thing. I guarantee it.
But at the same time, I also sometimes enjoy doing really stupid stuff at my own expense.
I promise you.
I think it's funny.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to do it or not, but I hope you do.
Is this worse than getting in the mosh pit that Halloween with the dress on?
Yeah, it might be. It might be not worse, but more nerve-wracking, anxiety-inducing, things like that. But okay. I will tell you all about that after this episode, which, by the way, I think we're at about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I think that's as good a time as any to wrap it up. Although in the future, I do want the episodes to go to. We're gonna try to. We'll discuss that off air. But
do you guys feel like you know me now? If you do feel like you know me, sorry.
This feels like something that always used to bother me as a kid. When they would the kid shows where they talk to the TV, and it would be like, "Well, do you feel like you know them, kids?" Okay, well. I'm looking directly into the camera right now. Mm-hmm. I just want to say that this is the first time I've ever done. I'm freaking out that this is going to be on YouTube. I agreed to do a podcast, and now does this technically make me a YouTuber? Because and then I love YouTubers. There's a bunch of them that are really smart, and I really enjoy. There's really a lot of smart people, but then I'm me being a YouTuber. So smash that like button. Sorry, go ahead. What is up, guys? Don't forget to smash that like button, like and subscribe for more sweet videos like this.
So if I've been weird with my hands during this whole thing, I got to get used to being on camera, and I do apologize for that now.
Hopefully we will do several more of these in the future.
Several more on YouTube.
So and this, by the way, this music means that we're nearing the end of this episode, if anyone didn't already notice.
Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
Yo, you need to wrap that gavel up, B. So, actually, hang on here. There we go. So, I think that next week, I want us to, wait, hold on. This isn't a real, black podcast unless I turn the music up really loudly and try to talk over it. So I think that for next episode, I think we're gonna do a full movie episode, and I don't want to talk about like black identity stuff, but I kind of want to talk about last week we did like toxic negative thinking, and this next week I want to do toxic positivity. What do you think of that, Joe?
Okay, a movie of toxic positivity.
I want to do the topic of toxic positivity and how, because last week I talked about a lot of negative thinking and how that can like spiral out of control and how you shouldn't do it, it's bad, etc., etc. But I also want to talk about the people who, when things are bad, the people who are, oh, come on, just get over it, it's not bad, And really quick, I'm gonna slowly lower the music here. And the thing that inspired me to do this was, one, I wanted to have just sort of a balance to the episode I did last week, but also it makes me think of people who, when there's actual issues happening in the world, we'll do police brutality or the whole Trump presidential thing. People who say things like, all we have to do is love one another and things will be fine. Or people who post memes that like, hatred is learned. I don't teach my kids to hate. Yeah. Or let's not see color. And it's that kind of, let's ignore it and it'll go away. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Let's not actually find solutions.
Yes.
Let's just paint everything this rosy color, and because we all agree that we should be happy, kumbaya, we're all together, which is a load of fucking bullshit.
Right.
I don't think I've really cussed that much this episode.
Good job. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Guys, next week, fuck, shit, fuck, motherfucker.
You just couldn't not do it. So yeah, I think that next week I want to touch on that a little bit. So I'm gonna try to find a movie that we can use to discuss that. Yeah. Or I might just not. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I'm my own boss right now. I can do whatever I want.
Oh wait, does this mean you're my boss too?
Ooh, is that what it means? Oh wow, never been the boss of anything before.
Next week on Uncle Tyrese's Cabin.
Oh my god, that is the title of my book when I write a book. That is the title of my book. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, with that being said, I think there's one thing left to do. Are you ready?
Hold on, wait.
And do you want to count us in? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Misinterpreting.
I don't know how to jump people.
You might not have seen all the movies we're misinterpreting. You're really smart, and that's fair play.
Travis, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
We're both sorry.
Didn't see yourself such a good song.
I usually end these shows with just some sort of final comment, but nothing will top. Sometimes I close my eyes because all I want to see is black. So we will just end on that.
How am I snorting at my own joke?
I don't know, but it was a high quality joke. I'll just end on that. And I will also say, Happy Black History Month, everybody. Goodbye.